Hey guys, welcome back to the Youth News Network. My name is Leighton, and today we are joined by 5 very special girls. They are here changing their community and changing it for the better. Welcome to the show, girls. Why don't you guys introduce your names and who you guys are?
So hi, my name is Elizabeth Sharapali.
My name is Netra Vijay.
I'm Aditi Nair.
I'm Anika Prasad. I'm Sanjana Kamana.
And we're a small group of students from Strawberry Crest High School aiming to make a change in body dysmorphic disorder. So pretty much what we're trying to do is raise awareness, whether that be through promoting self-love or showing the scientific facts behind BDD, and overall spreading that information to our community and hopefully beyond.
Now, body dysmorphia is a very common thing, especially with kids 18 and under. I'm sure you guys obviously know your facts. So what do you guys do within your community and at your school to help with body dysmorphia?
I mean, one thing that we do is we use different social media platforms because, you know, that's how you connect with kids nowadays and the younger audience, which is where, like you said, BDD is most susceptible to. So we have a TikTok, Instagram, and a Spotify podcast that we use to kind of outreach and support those that are silently struggling. Recently, for Valentine's Day, we did self-love notes, so people could come into the library, write themselves like a little note, something they love about their body, something that they want to tell someone else who's been struggling with BDD, and pin it up for everybody to see. And that's one thing that we kind of did to support those people who necessarily can't speak up about what they're going through, but it's definitely something that we can do to show support.
I also think when she talked about social media, of course, we're obviously addicted to our phones, and social media is such a huge part of our lives, whether a good thing or bad thing, but I think a lot of people have developed a lot of body insecurity and body dysmorphia because of what they're see every single day on their phones. When they open Instagram, they see the most beautiful body or something that they intend to have, and I think that can be very damaging. So to be able to open your phone and be hey, you're beautiful, or something positive, or something just to brighten their day in a way that other forms of media wouldn't be able to do.
That's so smart, honestly, being always there on their phones, because I'm Gen Z. I know I'm older looking, but I'm Gen Z and I'm always on my phone and I'm always seeing all those Instagram influencers and models, and it's it is deterring to right. Seeing that every day. So this is awesome. What do you guys post, I guess, then on your socials?
So we post things about how people they can love their body, positive affirmations. We do self-love quotes and other things like that. And then we also have series where we show BDD in TV shows or movies, and I think that really shows people they're not alone, and that kind of gives them the strength to keep on fighting. So that's one thing we highlight.
Yeah, and we've also talked to a lot of people that are have experienced BDD, and we post these on our YouTube and our podcast, and we talk about our own stories because I feel a lot of us have been insecure, and we've seen these social media posts or see people that we're just oh, I wish I had that body shape, and it just really hurts us. And we want to give back to the community, which is the entire point of our project, because we want to make people feel they aren't alone in this fight.
No, I love that. I was looking, I was doing my research, and I truly feel especially with Gen Z, having your phones out every day, looking on social media at all times, I feel everybody's insecure, girls and boys. It's not just one-way side, and everybody feels that way at least once. Mm-hmm. So this is really awesome that you guys are coming together and doing that. Have you guys, maybe, I know it's kind of anonymous, but have you guys noticed that it's not just girls, it's also guys too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've had a lot of outreach, especially with our Share Your Story survey, where we get so many incredible stories. Even globally, we're working on initiatives and partnering with them globally to look at different cultures, look at different genders, and just see that BDD really can affect everyone, and it's not just limited to people that are younger. It also affects the older generation, and it's just so prevalent that it really just needs to be addressed, and that's really what we're trying to do. We post a lot of different risk factors like genetic predisposition, ethnic and societal pressures, perfectionism, those kinds of things that really can lead to developing BDD. So I know personally, I'm sure we've all struggled with perfectionism and feeling your flaws and just pointing them out and obsessing over that, and that's really what BDD is about, is just picking apart your appearance and these flaws in your face that maybe aren't as flawed as you think they are.
Honestly, I feel ethnic and societal pressures is especially something that we all kind of resonated with, especially because we're all young women of color. And I think especially when there's not a lot of media representation for people who look the way you do, it's very easy to develop body dysmorphia and insecurities, because when you open a magazine or you go on TV and you're watching a show or something and you see these people who don't have features that you have, it can make you feel like yours are inadequate, and that's not necessarily true. And what we kind of want to do is we kind of want to bring that to light, that even if you aren't represented in TV and stuff, it doesn't make you any less beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. No, I can totally relate. I'm obviously not white. I'm Asian. And the only other Asian female that I ever saw growing up was Brenda Song from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And so everyone my whole life has always been like, oh, you're just like London Tipton. I'm like, why? Because I'm Asian or because I like pink? Let's separate the difference. But, oh, that's so awesome. And that is so true, too. I've noticed that my whole life, too. And I've never really outspokenly been like, oh, there's no Asians, but like I totally get where you guys are coming from, because that is so true. And my parents are both white, and so like I've always been like, oh, one day I'll have blonde hair. That's just not quite how genetics play, but that's so like true. And I'm glad that you guys brought that into this conversation, because that's something that is it's changing, like right now especially. I think like Crazy Rich Asians was like the first all Asian cast, which was really awesome too.
I think like as a society, or just throughout time, like we've always defined beauty and what beautiful is, whether that be the body type that's attained at that time, or I feel like now in our society, like beautiful in a woman is like this perfect skinny girl, or like the hourglass shape, or whatever it is. Right. And that could be ethnic factors, whether it be like our South Asian culture. There's like certain standards that we're like expected to live up to, like regarding our culture, and that those standards that we're forced to abide by. And I bet like many like obviously cultures can relate to that, and I think it's so important as a society, and that's what we're trying to do, is to redefine what beautiful means to every single person. Like I don't think beautiful is like your body or your physical appearances. We truly believe that beautiful can be like who you are, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I think that's, of course, like we see that all the time, like it's emphasized, but I don't think people truly understand like being beautiful is being you, and that's our saying, like being you is being beautiful. And I think it's so important, especially like at this time when we're so vulnerable, we're so young, and like we see like the media and like social media like constantly fed into us, being reminded that you're never defined by your body and you're never defined by how you look, and that being beautiful and being pretty, or however you define it, has nothing to do with how you look. And that's kind of what we're trying to emphasize.
Oh, I love that. That is so true too. I mean, like, it, not to sound like cheesy or whatever, but it really is like what's deep down, because like you can take two beautiful girls like Sydney Sweeney and Janae Atko, and they're both so beautiful, and they do look different, but they're both like really great human beings at the end of the day. And I love that message too, like that it's all about like what's underneath really.
I mean, another thing that you touched on was like kind of like men with BDD. And I think, honestly, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I was like in the dark about that. I didn't really know until we conducted our survey, and we got like a lot of responses from men themselves. And one thing that was like really stressed was like muscle dysmorphia, right? Which is basically like, it's so emphasized in gym culture nowadays that you're working to attain like this perfect body, and there's like a lot of men going through BDD and they aren't necessarily supported the way women are, right? And obviously like there are still like deficits in supporting women with BDD, but that's not to say that we shouldn't support men the same.
I completely agree. You know, I think that guys, like, obviously, you know, like, they're like, you know, they're too cool, like, they're too hard. But I mean, like, we all have feelings, and I know that guys are on their phones looking at like gym bros, and they're like, oh, like, I could never be like that. Like, I know that it goes both ways for girls and guys. So I'm glad that you also, guys, have like emphasized that it's not just in girls, it's also in guys, and whether they realize it or not, that is body dysmorphia.
Yeah. I think also, like, I think friendships affect that too, like the way that guys are with, like, whether it's cool or not to address body dysmorphia, and that I guess a lot of body dysmorphic content is directed towards women, while like there might not be as much like towards men, and it's just like the way that they view themselves versus like
exactly women. And I think a lot of it comes down to like being maybe like insecure, or maybe just not as confident as some other people are. I'm sure that there are people, celebrities especially, who are totally comfortable in their skin, but like that makes other people like not comfortable, and then that leads to the whole body dysmorphia. And I love this whole statement of like being you is beautiful, because that's so true. The people who are being authentically themselves, they're not holding back, and I think that's what really gives them their confidence and glow.
Yeah, and she mentioned this on her last point, but I think the people you surround yourself with really do have a huge impact of how you look at your body. And that's all, like, that comes down to just putting, like, positive people around you. Like, I can say, like, on behalf of these girls, I've suffered with BDD, and, like, I've gone through that, and it's been a hard journey, but being able to be around them and, like, having positive people around you can help tremendously. And, like, I'm able to see my body and, like, the way I view myself in a whole different light because of the things that they've done for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So I think one of the most important things that we really want to convey is self-love, because I think it always starts with you having to love who you are. And I feel like personally, I'll be looking at my flaws and I'll be focusing on that and trying to fix that and trying to look better, but I'm not fine with who I am. And I think that's the most important thing, because you have to love yourself before you want to, like, be considered pretty, because being considered pretty is like you need to think that you are pretty.
Right.
And something we did to emphasize that recently, we made like bracelets, and they had like carrying like loving messages on them, like love your body and other things like that. And we passed them around to our friends and stuff. And I think that like really helped those who they might be silently struggling. They might not like answer our surveys. They might not be able to say like, oh, I am struggling. But I think small things like that, they like really do make a difference. And that really like promoted self-love in our community.
Oh my god, they like Swiftie best friend bracelets. Can I get one after this? Oh my god, I love that. That's so cool. And I completely agree with this whole, like, surrounding yourself with the right people. I know that girls can sometimes be very petty and like be like mean towards each other, and like guys are kind of similar with like, oh yeah, I lifted so much today, or oh yeah, I ate this much amount of protein today. It's just like, why are you like putting people down when all you can just do is lift people up? And I totally agree with all of that. That's like very cool. And I love the whole friendship bracelet thing. I want one after this. But okay, wait, I do have one question before we wrap up this whole thing. Like I said, like we've all struggled with like being okay in our skin, being confident, loving ourselves. What is something like mantra or affirmation that either you say to yourself or you say to others?
I think it's mostly just our motto, like being you is being beautiful, and we really strongly believe in that, and we think that being yourself is the best thing that you can possibly be, because everyone is always beautiful in their own skin. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. And something else we like to say is being beautiful is in your head, not in a mirror. It's not like, it's kind of like how you think of yourself, like, and it's not just like your outside appearance and like maybe what society like defines as beauty. It's like what you define it as, and like anyone, yeah, is beautiful.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I also think just loving yourself, not just, I know a lot of people say to love yourself, oh, regardless of your flaws, like don't, think so badly of your flaws, but I think it's important to really like embrace the fact that you should love yourself like because of your flaws, like embrace those flaws and really truly like love yourself the way that you are.
That's true. I know that some days it's harder than others, but at the end of the day, faking it until you believe it is like so true. I like hated like my like nose growing up, and then like everybody like got like the nose job, and I'm like, oh, I don't even have to do that. Like my nose is already pretty, so like that's awesome. And I'm glad you guys came in. Thank you guys for talking about who you guys are and what you guys are doing. Make sure, guys, to follow them on social media. Who wants to say your social media tags?
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Spotify.
All at beautiful_Hosa.
Very cool. And make sure to follow us, guys, on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at YNN. And if you guys want to add to this discussion, DM them, DM us. We want to keep this conversation open and continue talking about body dysmorphia, because again, everyone suffers from it. It's not just a one-sided or one person only kind of topic. So with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it and comment down below, and make sure to share this video to a friend to let them know that they're also not alone, because we're all going through it. Okay, so we'll say on 3, we'll say bye, guys. You ready? 1, 2. Bye, guys.